Welcome to this exciting episode of AI Live. My name is Brian Terry, and I'm a Senior Partner Solution Architect here at AWS, focusing on Gen AI migrations to Amazon Bedrock. So I'm here joined with my good friend Parijad. Parijad, how are you doing today?
Doing absolutely fantastic. And hello, everyone. My name is Parijat Awasi. I'm a senior partner solution architect at AWS. And my specialization is migrations and modernizations, but they don't come these days without any Gen AI flavor. So,
Absolutely, everything is ingrained in Gen AI.
yeah,
With that said, we've had some exciting announcements on the AI front with AWS. I like to say that we announced a new MCP server for IEC. This combines CloudFormation and CDK, so please check that out in that MCP repository GitHub.
awesome. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday that we made Kiro is now generally available. And now with general availability, it comes with some additional features such as property-based testing for spec correctness. So that's a different way of saying that the code intends to do what you really wanted it to do, right? It now supports checkpointing. So you can go back in the past and go back to any previous feature that you had asked Kirio to generate, which got updated. So you now have the ability to go back. We also announced something called as Amazon Bedrock Service tiers. So they are like mission critical, business standard, business non-critical. So think of it like in terms of highest response time to I won't call it lowest response time, but mission critical priority provides you the highest response time compared to standard and flex. So yeah, lots of announcements leading up to reInvent, and I cannot wait to see what all are we going to announce during reInvent.
Oh yeah, that's super exciting. I'm excited about reInvent. Sadly, this is our last show before reInvent, but the good part is the reInvent will be live there in the booth. So we prepared to see some of the latest and greatest with AI and Gen AI and some of our partners, and we'll be filming live from reInvent. So if you're going to be at reInvent, please stop by. If not, please tune in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yes.
let's bring our partners because this is a partner show. So let's bring
Yeah,
the guest for
exciting
today.
show. Yes,
Yeah.
let's bring in our first guest. Hello, welcome to to AI Live. Yeah, welcome. We're super excited to have you here. How about you introduce yourself?
Hey Brian, hey Parijat. Hello folks, my name is Raghavendran Challappa. I lead the AI competency for Sonata software. It's awesome to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to walking you guys through a sample, an actual implementation of AI, which has made a difference to somebody's life sitting in a factory. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh man, that's exciting stuff. Super fan of your company. Can you talk a little bit about your company, what you guys do, and how you guys like got into this whole phase of Gen AI and the solutions and solving these huge problems?
Right. Like I said, AI is everywhere, right? I know we say Gen AI, but AI is everywhere. In whatever we do at Sonata, we are at heart an engineering and a modernization company. We have been helping our customers for almost 4 decades. We are 38, 39 years old, and we've been helping multiple of our customers across all verticals to modernize their applications. Parijat, I was actually enthused when you actually said you're a modernization expert. So we have been helping our customers go from older technology, newer technology, building applications on the most current technology as well. And by the way, whatever we do, engineering tooling is actually something that runs in our blood. And now AI coming to the picture, anything that we do, AI is actually helping us do it in a much better way. So no wonder we've started using AI for development. We've started using to improve platform organization and stuff. The example that I'm going to talk about today is going to cover that. A few more things. I'll probably cover a couple of more items of a few more messages when we go through the slide deck as well.
Absolutely, super exciting.
Yeah. Do we want to bring the slide deck up?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your slides. Yeah.
Let's go to add 2 more slides, guys, and then I'll dive into the actual demo.
Awesome.
Can you go to the next slide, please? A few messages about what at Sonata we do with respect to AI. We have been helping multiple of our customers across various verticals, travel, banking, and healthcare, and all. We have been great partners with AWS. In addition to AWS, we also work with educational organizations to be on the leading edge, to be understand what's happening with the research as well. From a competency perspective, we have helped our customers right from AI assessment to development of platforms, and then actually taking those platforms and rolling out to the customers. We, as I mentioned, one of the basic things that we do is we build tools and accelerators that help our customers do things faster, and AI is at the center of it. Can you go to the next slide, please? We at Sonata has helped our customers and delivered outcomes in 4 areas, especially using AI. We've used AI for cost optimization. We've used AI to improve experience. We used AI for tech debt and modernization. That's with Kiro coming into the picture. Kiro is a newest thing, and spec-based development is something that we are big on. And then we've also used AI for helping our customers achieve their compliance and governance goals. Talking about compliance and governance goals, if you go to the next slide, please. The next slide actually talks about the demo that I'm going to show. We built a platform for one of our packaged goods customers. That customer have multiple factories, and each factory, a foreman has to prepare reams and reams of documents every month just for their audit purposes. Just imagine a person has to type 40-page document every month talking about their operations steps, what change that they have done, what is their current security features and all. They had to do this every single month. We went in, and the customer basically said that person, the foreman, has better jobs to do their real work in the factory rather than creating documents. So that's where we went in and we brought in Amazon NovaSonic. We used Amazon NovaSonic service to build a conversational chatbot for that foreman, where the foreman can, instead of typing documents, he has a virtual assistant where he can chat with. He not only dictates, but the chatbot will also ask him questions to get more details, get what he's having in his mind into a document, and then generate the document at the end of the conversation. What has happened is, because of the fact we made the preparation of the audit document so simple, typically a foreman used to spend 110 hours, 110 person hours every month. That has now come down to just 60 hours or 55 hours or so, like 60% savings that they've achieved. And the foremen are very happy. The customer is very happy. We are now trying to build more on top of it. You have a document created. Can we actually make the document into a knowledge corpus and use it for everybody else as well? So can we extend that audit platform there? So the core brain services, architecture services are Amazon NovaSonic. Of course, that's Amazon NovaSonic. In addition to that, we also are using multiple other AWS services. And we have really felt the actual difference that we could make in a foreman's life, and the amount of time that he has saved, and he's able to go and do his real job. I talked about now that I've talked about the use case, now that I've talked about what I've really done, I want to show you guys the platform itself, the actual platform working. So I have a short demo of just 3 minutes. So I would appreciate if you can see that. Can you bring up the recording, please?
To our enterprise-grade AI assistant, empowering teams to generate content, code, and insights securely within your environment. With NovaSonic speech integration, users can engage in natural voice conversations to query data, capture knowledge, and drive productivity. Let's see a short working demo.
Hello, Nova.
Hello. It's great to connect with you today. I'm looking forward to learning from your insights. This interview is to evaluate our plant's day-to-day operations, including general information, inventory, and our top priority, safety. To start, could you walk me through the plant's standard production hours during weekdays?
The standard production hours are an 8-hour shift from Monday to Friday.
Thank you for sharing that. So, the plant operates an 8-hour shift from Monday to Friday. What about the production hours on weekends? Are they the same or different?
Weekends have a 12-hour shift from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and the ABCD crews rotate their weekend work.
Got it. So, on weekends, the plant operates a 12-hour shift from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and the ABCD crews rotate their weekend work. That's quite a shift. Is there an annual shutdown specifically for inventory counting?
It's 2 days.
So there is a 2-day annual shutdown specifically for inventory counting. That's quite thorough. Moving on to inventory types, what are the main types of inventory stored at the location?
The main types of inventory stored are metals, scrap metals, and other items.
Thank you for sharing that. The main types of inventory stored at the location include metals, scrap metals, and other items. Does the plant store MRO, YP, finished goods, raw materials, or scrap? Could you elaborate on each type?
It's usually raw materials and scrap.
Understood. The plant typically stores raw materials and scrap. Thank you for sharing that. Metal is the most critical type of inventory, contributing to around 80% of the inventory. What percentage of inventory costs are attributed to metal?
It's around 80%.
So, around 80% of inventory costs are attributed to metal. Why
Nova,
are
let's wrap
inventory-
it up for the day.
Thank you for sharing your expertise. I've summarized the possible questions you should cover. You can add anything if needed. Have a great day.
And with just one click, users can download the summarized knowledge, making it easy to share, review, and store valuable expertise.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow. Yes.
If you notice, the foreman now has an assistant, a virtual assistant. It's not a simple transcriber. It actually takes the voice takes the inputs from the foreman. It actually adds pointers to it, pointers to what the foreman should add. And the beauty of this is, once you have the documents created, you can add more to this pipeline. You can bring in. We are thinking about bringing in AWS QuickSpeed to actually start working on the documents that are getting created, so that you'll have a knowledge corpus, and then the audit documents can be discussed or reviewed by an auditor going forward as well. So we have been using this for quite some time, and it's great. It's been delivering a lot of benefit, a lot of value for our customers.
That is
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long did it take you guys to kind of from like thinking about the solution to implementing this solution? How long did that take?
That's the beauty. It took us a quarter, just more than a quarter.
Wow.
Getting the idea was the most important part, but once we got the idea to actual solution was less more than a quarter. That's it.
Wow, that's quite a turnaround. So how has like the AWS technologies and the solutions helped with getting that from a thought idea to production time?
Yes, we have seen that with services like NovaSonic, you don't really have to worry about training a service to listen and understand your speech, right? And the quality of the responses that we got from NovaSonic reduced a lot of our return or not a lot of testing time. And with Bedrock being where it is right now, it has helped to build a platform that we can build on top of very quickly. The amount of confidence that our customers have gained by looking at the quality of transcription that we have got, that has helped us as well, because the more the customers see, the more faster the customers would adopt. So that's another area where the maturity of the AWS services helped us.
Wow.
Wow. And I mean, I'm just thinking about this question that we have heard so many times about pilot to production fatigue of sorts. But this seems like a successful deployment in the production, which is delivering real client value. So how do you think clients are now thinking about, who have at least seen this product in action, about AI in general? So
they want more of it now. So I think that's the day. Once you see that AI can actually make a difference, AI was thought of as somebody that knowledge workers will use, but in this case, it's not the knowledge worker. The AI is helping a person who's working in a foreman working in a non-knowledge situation, right? And that has made a lot of difference right now. Business leaders are now coming in. So, okay, can I use it in my business? Can I use it in areas that are outside of just document creation and others? So they want more.
yeah.
Oh wow.
And-
That is super interesting.
Yes.
And
Can I?
Yeah,
Sure, go
go
ahead. Now, I
No,
just
go
want
ahead,
to
go
see,
ahead.
we can go to the next slide.
Oh yeah, sure.
But in the meantime, Pari, you go ahead so that I can bring up the QR code.
Yeah. No, I was just asking that since it is now deployed in, production, so what are the key lessons that are learned while implementing, this kind of solution or generative AI at scale?
Right. So at scale, the key thing is to identify the use case. That's where that's the biggest lesson that we have learned is pick the right use case where AI can make an impact. And we always think about, is this the use case, and is this use case going to, if you solve this use case through AI, is it going to bring the maximum bang for the buck? That's one. And second, once you have identified the use case, the quicker you are able to build something that we can show to our customers, the faster the uptake is. Because ultimately, the users have to warm up to it and start using it. And anything that we can do in a quick order of time, like in this case, we were able to, because AWS services were ready, we were able to put together a solution and then show something to the customer and keep iterating on top of it. So the earlier that we go back to our customer to get feedback, the better it is, so that you'll have the interest. You'll also know what more. You'll be able to have time to tweak things and pivot as needed. And
Wow.
just a starting point. We should always think that we should always know, and now we know that the minute one use case gets successful, it's just a matter of time before other use cases start getting asked for. So we just be ready.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point that, idea to prototyping, which can be demonstrated to the customers, that's really important. And with things like, Kiro, it can help you quickly turn your idea into a demoable prototype in a very short amount of time. And once you are ready to take it to production, that's where, Agent Core comes in, which will help you deploy these solutions at a scale in a much more secure manner, and also takes the heavy lifting of, hosting of these agents and worrying about the security as such.
That's right. Kiro is a big revelation for us, especially with the spec-based development that is coming in. We have seen that we don't have to worry about the quality of code or the code that's going to be generated. We know for a fact that Kiro would generate code as per our expectations, as per specifications. So that has lifted our confidence more as well. So we know that we have identified the use case for AI. We're using a tool that will generate a prototype in a production-ready code, and then we'll be ready to go to a platform which will make it safe as well. So that's been a great journey end-to-end for us.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now that you guys have this solution now, and it's kind of helping with the process of just everything as far as this solution with employees, what does the future look like for these kind of technologies? And what are some things that you guys are kind of working on right now to kind of take this to the next level?
Right. So there are two impacts to this. One, with Kiro coming in, the thought process of how do we develop as an engineering company for us has become very different. We are able to do things much faster, build apps much faster. To customers, the lead time for them to get a solution in hand has also shrunk, sometimes even 50%. So from a customer perspective, they're getting their stuff faster. From AI has now gone beyond simple office or corporate level use cases to more non-office, non-corporate level use cases as well. We are now seeing that with the amount of choices that we have within Bedrock, we are able to handle multiple problem areas with AI. Video has come into the picture, audio has come into the picture, even the normal reasoning. We are now able to find out how to process emails. One of our customers, we are processing emails. Hundreds of emails that come every day. We find the intent of the emails in a much more accurate way than what it was able to do before. And finding the intent is important because we'll have to decide on, based on the intent of the email, we'll have to say, should you do an automated reply, or should you send it to a human in the loop so that they can do something more with it? The power of AI has expanded the amount of use cases that we can do and implement right away. and it is also reduced our time and increased our time to market for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
does. And I would want to thank AWS for this opportunity and thank the team, thank everyone on this call to actually listen to this. It's been a great experience for us. We are on a journey. AI is everywhere. AI is going to be everywhere. AI is going to do much more than what we are seeing right now. I would appreciate you guys to go and have a look at what more we have done along with AI and AWS. If you click on this QR code, and our company is www.sonata-software.com. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, super exciting, man. I'm glad to see that you guys are having a lot of success with these technologies, especially around NovaSonic. I think that's a very cool tool, and it's a very good use case, a very awesome use case you guys had there.
We can extend this to video. We can extend this to knowledge. With QuickSpeed coming into the picture, we are pretty extended. We're trying to build on top of this and use more, get more value of the knowledge that's coming out of people's minds, people's heads.
Yeah.
And with AI, especially Gen AI, and agentic AI, so many different kinds of AIs, right? So we often say that sky is the limit in terms of imagination, what you want to build. But since you specialize in AI transformations and you talk to your clients day in, day out, what are the biggest opportunities that you're seeing? What are the use cases that they are asking to solve, using Gen AI?
Yes, the usual use cases are help automate their corporate process, help automate their HR process, marketing process, help automate their customer service process. These are all usual suspects. But what we are seeing more often is helping their engineering teams become more proficient with AI. It's actually surprising to see that even engineering teams who are supposed to be AI proficient, even they are still not at the bleeding edge like Kiro. Right? They would want our help to help their engineering teams to have better uptake with Kiro. So that's another thing that's coming. And we are also seeing that there are more use cases that are outside of their core business, core corporate business, and then they're talking about, okay, we have one of our customers had a supply chain problem. They were getting data from multiple of their suppliers, and they need to predict when which supplier is going to have a challenge in sending this information, sending their material so that they can switch to a different supplier. Those cases, the prediction algorithms, there are also scenarios where we want to add Gen AI to traditional ML-based prediction and then have it together. Right? We are seeing more of those scenarios now. That's an evolution. Earlier, people were not thinking about, oh, can I also bring in the traditional ML and have predictions on top of what we're doing as Gen AI? They were seeing Gen AI only as a chatbot. Now we are seeing that go beyond the chatbot, go beyond the traditional LLMs. We're saying, okay, put them together and then get more value out of it.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'll just say that, in the past, like it used to be like, for clients, it used to be like cloud first strategy, right? Any new workload, any new use case, let's see how cloud can help us solve that use case. These days, it's now becoming AI first,
Yeah.
right? So have a use case and then start thinking about how can AI fit into this. And again, obviously, not AI is not the silver bullet for everything, but again, that could be one of the starting point.
That's a question that should be asked in every use case, at least. It's worth asking that question.
Yeah.
I could double click on that example you said with the ML combined with AI. Can you talk a little bit like what is your vision, or like can you from a 10,000 foot view, what would that solution kind of look like? Kind of tying in Gen AI, complying with ML. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I can go with another example where we're doing this. So this is a healthcare data analytics company. They get data from multiple data providers, like providers, hospitals, and clinics. They send the data.
Mm-hmm.
That data needs to be merged together, and you need to run multiple algorithms to find predictions for them. Right.
Oh.
So now, when multiple customers send the data, and all of those customers have to be translated into or mapped into an internal data structure. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we used to write code to do this data mapping. With the advent of AI in the pipeline, we have a data ingestion pipeline. We have a data mapping through Gen AI, which does the mapping into the local model. And then now, once the data comes into the local model, we have ML models running as a part of the pipeline to create a prediction score. And then we have visualization. Now, visualization is another area where you have Gen AI come into the picture, where you will be able to talk to the data, and customers are able to interact with data to get the answer. So if you notice, ingestion, AI for mapping, ML for prediction, and then AI again, Gen AI again for a chatbot kind of an interaction. So that's a sample pipeline that we built. And this is something like a template that we're able to use everywhere else.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's an awesome solution. Will that do you envision that combining somehow with Agent Core to kind of do some orchestration?
Yes. Now, the orchestration with the advent of agents. So if you want to run this process, there are customers who will run this process as a batch so that we can run it as a normal sequence. But there are customers who want to run it as a near real-time process where when a data file comes in, they would want to run this pipeline of Gen AI and ML at runtime. For those, what we have seen is having an agent with tools is actually very useful. So you have a bunch of agents that are orchestrated by a master orchestrating agent that can decide based on the data input that's coming in, which tool that it has to use to augment its data, and then which ML algorithm has to be kicked off for us to be prediction to be calculated, and hence do the visualization later. So there's a certain amount of orchestration that can be built, and you can make it semi-autonomous, even fully autonomous based on your need there. And that's when agentic AI comes into the picture as well.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at the questions in the chat, and I think there's a question which is about how do you ensure responsible and secure AI adoption within the client environments?
Right. So at Sonata, we are pretty right from the Gen AI days 3 years ago. We realized that AI, to be successful, customers should trust AI, and the only way customers can trust AI is when AI responds in a responsible way. And the way we do it is when you build an AI platform, even before you build a solution, right? In the case of the example that you saw previously as well, the first step that we do is we build a platform that includes multiple of the AI, responsible AI capabilities, like checking for whether a social security number or any PI information is getting compromised or not. In addition to that, we also look at what is the kind of data that is coming out of LLMs. Is it applicable to the context that we have in hand or not? That's kind of a filter that you do. Those are table stakes. At a platform level, before you implement a use case, you have all the guardrails that will ensure that your AI is called in a responsible way. AI gets responses in a responsible way, and you have enough curtains to ensure that it doesn't go out of hand. We also see that while we implement the platform, we also have to ensure that there is governance and monitoring, or constant monitoring and feedback to our customers as well. Customers get more comfortable as they keep seeing, okay, I not only have my guardrails, but the guardrails are working as well. So having a governance and having an information that we can share back as a monitoring is also important.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. So we only have a couple more minutes left in this interview. Can you talk a little bit about how people can contact you? Do you have any social medias you want to put out there, or if it's going to be a reInvent
Awesome.
or anything like that?
Yes. There you go. Thanks a lot. So like I said, our website is www.sonata-software.com. And you can click on this QR code so that you'll be able to see our capabilities. It will take us to our website. By the way, I'm also going to be me and my colleagues are going to be in AWS reInvent December 1 to 5. Love to meet with you guys too.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, and please come back. We're excited to see where this technology goes next. For the audience, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome to this exciting episode of AI Live. My name is Brian Terry, and I'm a Senior Partner Solution Architect here at AWS, focusing on Gen AI migrations. And I'm joined here with my good friend, Parajad.
Hello, everyone. My name is Parjat. I'm a Senior Partner Solution Architect at AWS, and my area of specialization is migrations and modernizations, and I focus especially on Gen AI, and I bring thought leadership in terms of how do we use Gen AI to help help our customers migrate and modernize faster and in a better way.
Yes. And we are super excited that you're here. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. For the people returning, we're so excited that you're back. We normally film every week from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but we've been on a 2-week hiatus up until reInvent. And then after reInvent and maybe later in the future, we'll resume our weekly shows. But stay tuned and please keep coming back.
Yeah, indeed. And Brian, I think in the previous presentation we ended on the note of security, right? How
We
about
did.
we begin this conversation with security in mind,
I think
right?
so.
So
I think it's a great idea.
let's bring our partner.
All right. Welcome to AI Live. How would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. And first of all, I have to say happy reInvent season, right? This is the time of the year. We're super pumped. I actually think it's like 300 hours till when reInvent starts. So, counting, not that I'm counting or anything like that, but no, thanks for having me on. My name is Brett Roberts. I lead our technical relationship and strategy between SentinelOne and AWS. So I have what I think is the best job because I get to work with so many people across so many different organizations and services within AWS. And then I span between our product team, our customers, all the different entities within both organizations to help build and, work and collaborate on building joint integrations to help our customers do the most important thing, which is protect and secure their assets, not only in AWS, but their entire organizational footprint. So super pumped to be here talking about security and AI.
Welcome, Brett. So your company, super cool company. Let's talk a little bit about your company, how you got started, and how you guys went riding this wave of Gen AI and AI.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously AI has been around for a long time, and the wave itself with AI has been up and down over the decades. But we were definitely in the largest wave that I think we've been in with AI ever. SentinelOne, we are a cybersecurity company, but we're more than just cybersecurity. Like we really do focus on and call ourselves the AI-powered cybersecurity company, and we help customers protect across endpoint, cloud, their data identity, like all these different areas and attack surfaces. And AI powered to us isn't just something that we're bolting on or as kind of an afterthought or a part of this wave, right? AI has been a part of the SentinelOne fabric since its beginning. When we started with endpoint, machine learning was part of our our initial endpoint agents to help customers, and we've evolved that over the years. And we've seen the evolution of just using machine learning and endpoint to how do we help provide AI within our cloud security portfolio. Over the last couple of years, we've released something we call Purple AI, which is our Gen AI SOC assistant, which helps release some of the burden, right, from security analysts and in the SOC, which as we all know are super overwhelmed with all the different tasks that they have to do. Providing this Gen AI assistant to help with those tasks, help with threat hunting. Super important as well. And I think I have a demo that I'd love to show later on about that also. And then more recently, we're taking this wave of agentic AI and bringing that into the fold too, where we're helping bring agentic AI and the workflows that agentic AI supports into things like autonomous threat detection and response and remediation and all the things that help companies stay ahead of threat actors out there.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, see, Gen AI has brought so much of power in the hands of end users who are techies and non-techies, good actors and not so good actors. So, how are AI powered attacks evolving, and what are you doing to address those problems that our clients are facing today?
Yeah, no, I think as AI is evolving, organizations are using AI for good and for defense and for solutions, but threat actors are using AI as well. And we're really seeing the evolution of AI for attacks, I think, happening in two different ways. One, we're seeing the broadening of attacks where AI is democratizing how someone with malicious intent can use AI for cybercrime, right? It's really lowering that barrier to being able to, do something with cybercrime. And think about even just a couple of years ago, phishing emails, for example, phishing attacks. You could very much pick out what emails are phishing attempts, right? There's things where it didn't follow maybe necessarily the right vernacular and language, or it had something that didn't align to your business, how your business spoke or communicated, right? I mean, I'm sure multiple people have gotten texts from their CEO saying, "Hey, go pick up gift cards at CVS," right? Like, yeah. But but AI is making it so that those attacks are so much more real now, right? It's taking um, a prompt and turning it into language. It's not just spoken word. Like maybe if someone from a different country is trying to do an attack in English, in the past it might not be exactly the right vernacular terms. It's now sounding very much like it's written by someone in the United States. Or it sounds like your business, right? So it's so much more real. So many more people can now create very realistic attacks and really drive cybercrime. So that we're seeing the massive scale as part of the evolution, but we're also seeing it deepen and becoming more sophisticated and more complex as we think about how AI and really the idea of autonomous attacks and using agentic AI to really spearhead an attack where nowadays it's not just humans doing the attack with AI supporting, it's AI in the lead with very minimal human intervention. These attacks are super complex, and that it's very hard for organizations to pick up and to identify these very faint sensors in the attack so that they could remediate it before something disastrous happens. So we're really seeing, on one hand, the scale of attacks increase, but also threat actors are going so much more sophisticated and complex in the nature of their attacks as well.
Wow. So as those attacks kind of ramp up and the technologies kind of ramp up for the attacks, I imagine on the other side, you have to do the same thing in order to prevent these kind of attacks. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, organizations need to use AI to combat AI, right? AI needs to be used for defense against the evolution of AI-powered cybersecurity attacks. And again, it's the same thing. It's, how do we help empower security analysts to do two things? When we think about the scale of attacks, right? So many different alerts are coming into the SOC now. We need AI to help triage those alerts and prioritize which ones should have human intervention and which ones do not need to be looked at right away, right? And one of the things that are happening with attacks are we're trying to flood the system with so many different alerts that we can get something through. By being able to auto triage and use AI to do that, you can now prioritize what's important and what needs to be done. That's something that SentinelOne's been doing for a while now within our platform, is being able to, when you have alerts that are coming in, whether that's from endpoint, cloud, all these different attack surfaces, we can triage using AI these alerts, assign a severity to them, and based on how severe that actual alert is, then you can create action from that, right? Maybe there is human intervention for any severe alerts or anything that's high risk, but anything that's lower or moderate, maybe that's done, through AI, right? But what we're doing here is we're reducing some of the burden from the security analysts that are already overworked and overtaxed, so that they can focus on the most critical strategic work. That's one part. And I think the other part that we need to do is think about how do we use agentic workflows for autonomous threat detection and response to actually go in and look at, AI can look at sensor data patterns, anomalies that human eyes can't pick up, right? So when we think about how do we use AI to defend against AI, that's how we're doing it, right? We're looking at these patterns that maybe I couldn't necessarily do, but we're identifying them via AI and then having human intervention later on down the workflow.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And with the use of Gen AI, agentic AI growing exponentially, people are using almost everywhere, work, personal, uh, and almost pretty much every aspect of their life, right? So how are you seeing that as an area of threat for the business, and what are the potential mitigation solutions?
Yeah, it's awesome to see, and I'll be the first one to say I use Gen AI for a lot of things. It's awesome to see how much people are using Gen AI for their day-to-day lives. It's scary, but it's awesome, right? I mean, even 2 years ago, I was using it for writing an itinerary for a trip that I want to go on. Personal things, very much one-off, not really woven into my daily operating model. But nowadays, I'm using it for a lot of things that personal life that I just it's mundane tasks that I don't want to have to go and do extra work in, right? And then in the business, it's helping with drafting, create more creative things, blogs, all these different aspects. But when you start using it more and more, especially for business purposes, employees are running the risk of data leakage, right? How are they going to potentially leak secret data or company intellectual property? I mean, we have a ton of data or data intellectual laws globally, right? GDPR, all these different ones. That could be a big concern. Are we still being compliant when our employees are using Gen AI almost at will without a lot of oversight? It's still the Wild West, right? There, everyone has their own tool of choice. Some people use ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever that tool is. Some of them build their own. There's so many different applications that have AI assistants now too. So there's no real consistent inherent oversight, right? Organizations need to adopt a governance. But we also need to be able to provide those guardrails that are consistent across all these different applications, because we don't want our employees to accidentally leak data. And as you use Gen AI more and more, and again, I always have it up as a tab, I don't think people are as careful with what they're providing Gen AI assistants today as they were maybe a year or two ago. I was actually on Reddit last night and I saw a post where someone in their organization was copying and pasting key and value pairs from a database, like both the values, and putting it into a chat Gen AI in order to help write a query. And when you think about all the sensitive data that they just pasted in there, that helps train the assistants for future use. It could be something that could be used or given to other people as well. And all of a sudden you have, how does that impact the business, right? There's the obvious financial impact, right? If you are not in compliant, or if you, ruin, if a business leaves because they've been impacted. But there's also, I think, what's even more important is the long-term relationship that business now has, right? Is there trust in that organization that they're going to store my data properly, they're going to house my data, and that's going to create longer term financial implications, right? And if you want, if you're up for it, we can do a quick live demo of kind of how SentinelOne, with a recent it's called Prompt Security, we acquired them over the summer. Awesome technology. One of the things that they do is they provide a platform to help organizations kind of create these guardrails and these controls to limit and to help reduce data leakage and all of the risks, while still empowering the employee to use Gen AI to be successful and productive in their job.
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, let's hop in real quick. So if you can see my screen here, this is the dashboard, and Prompt actually also supports a number of different use cases. We're going to be talking about how do we help support and provide AI security for employees using Gen AI. But we also, with Prompt, can help with, code, with code development using Gen AI, agentic AI workflows, and even app development as well. But really, for the purpose of this conversation, where I think we're talking about, I really just want to focus on how do we help provide insights into how employees are using Gen AI and making sure that we're stopping them before there is any data leakage that could ruin the reputation of the business. So here you have a dashboard in the front screen, and you can it shows here violations prevented, total prompts, users. I mean, all this information that most organizations don't have visibility into within the organization. Like I couldn't tell you how many people, even on my team, what Gen AI assistants they're using before we had something like this, right? Like it's one of those things where, again, it's very much you're using it on your own within the organization. But we can see here prompts, violations, major spike on Monday in violations and prompts. And you can kind of see it's tapered back down. But all of this very descriptive information, it just helps organizations and leaders get a better understanding of what's in their business.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, what this does is it's the interface in between, or the intermediary between the Gen AI assistant and the input and the output, right? So if I put something into a Gen AI assistant, it's actually going to be run through the prompt engine first and validated that there isn't anything that conflicts with any of the data privacy settings that have been set up, and then it provides the output. So let's go into ChatGPT here, and what we're going to do is, let's just start with a prompt, maybe something that I did in preparation for this event, which is draft an engaging title for SentinelOne for AWS AI Live. And you can see here that, that's something that helps create, right? It's something that helps spur some creativity, helps kind of get things going, where maybe someone might spend 15, 20 minutes building together something, but not an hour and a half. And again, it came back and everything's good there. There's nothing there that caused any data leakage. But let's say I want to do something like, should I invest in S&P 500 stock? And this is where you can see right away that it comes back with, it's blocked. And it's blocked because stock trading is something that my organization has determined that we do not want to use with Gen AI. So, and you can see here that it just said simply respond blocked to policy violations. So nothing as an output there. But let's look at something where maybe I'm putting in a prompt where we do want a response, but maybe some of the things just might want to be obfuscated. So let's do something like send an email to Bob at acme.com talking about reInvent, right? Let's just, reInvent season. This is all live, as you can tell by my typing. And of course, live demos always sometimes take a little bit of time. And if you go here into prompt and go into our activity monitor, you can actually monitor all the activity that's being done. Again, this is all based on a browser extension.
So this sits in a browser. So basically, it's in a browser extension. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And of course, having a little bit of maybe some internet connectivity issues. So let's let this load up. Maybe we can go back and talk about it is there we go. Now we're just validating access. And go back into activity monitor, and you can see here. So you can see that all the topics that I requested have been, that was a violation was stopped. Things that weren't a violation were let through, and you can actually see the input and the output here. So if we just go into today alone, just for today, and we can even look down into user, Brett Roberts, you can see today all the different violations or anything that was like sensitive data that was masked, right? So drafting email to Bob, asking him about if he can access IP and the IP address. It was blocked, and the email address and the IP address was masked due to it being sensitive data. So again, this is the value here is that we're not limiting or keeping our employees and teams from using Gen AI to drive, engage, and to grow the business, which is where AI has just become so phenomenal. We're ensuring though that they are not harming the reputation of the business by data leakage or anything harmful, and that's the security aspect of it.
It's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, so I'm just curious. So this extension, so does it talks back to somewhere in the backend to determine whether this content is allowed or not, or how?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you go in here, you can set the actual in the different areas, you can set what your guardrails are, right? In sensitive data, you have all these different compliance-based things that you can select. You can add your own as well, but it's very easy to just toggle which ones you want or not want to have in your guardrails, right? You have things from sensitive data. You can go into regex, secrets, code detector, and then content moderation. Are there topics that you don't want to talk about, right? You talk about stock trading, any type of human resources activity. All of those are set, and so when you're kicking off a prompt and you're submitting the input, the browser extension runs that input through prompt, and then prompt is returning whether or not it can go through, if it can be sent to the actual LLM, or if it needs to be masked, or if it's good to go.
That's pretty awesome. That's
Yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah.
And with this, essentially, you are allowing the users to use their chatbot of their choice, but at the same time, you're also enforcing those governance policies. So that
100%. I think that, it's one of those things that there needs to be a balance between how do we ensure security and in this case AI security, but also not hindering the use and the productivity that we're seeing, just exponentially grow due to the usage of these Gen AI assistants.
Excellent.
wonderful.
But that's just one part of kind of where SentinelOne focused, right? At the end of the day, AI security is a very broad, focus, right? There's a lot of different parts of it. It's how do we help secure Gen AI assistance for employees and reduce data leakage, but it's also how do we actually provide organizations with our own Gen AI assistant so they can do things like threat hunting without having to write a ton of queries, and they can use natural language. I briefly talked a little bit about Purple AI, which is our own Gen AI assistant that we have for organizations. And Purple AI does like a number of different things here, and appreciate you blocking that while I was trying to authenticate. But what we're trying to do with Purple AI is help reduce the burden and the load that our security analysts are facing with all of the day-to-day tasks, right? So some of those things are, and also provide business and context to all the sensor data and all the alerts and all the things come in, right? Because not everyone can see an alert and know exactly what does that mean. So how do we actually provide summarization and really bridge the connection from some type of event in SentinelOne to what does that actually mean and what's the impact? Then Purple AI, again, is woven throughout our entire platform. One thing that we have, though, is we have this notebook here where you can actually start to do things like threat hunting using AI and natural language. So let's one that's near and dear to kind of the partnership between SentinelOne and S3 is, and let's help an analyst do some threat hunting with the AWS context to it, right? So if we go in here and we look at show me all S3 related activity in the CloudTrail log in the last 24 hours, right? So let me do this real quick. All right, let me do it again. S3 act. Typing is a real thing. Okay. All right. So we have this here. And now what we're doing is this is all a natural language prompt. What Purple AI is doing is, and this is built on Bedrock, is actually going and turning that prompt into a query. So I didn't have to spend time writing this query, messing up some syntax, going back and making sure it worked, spending all that time. And then in very quick amount of time, it creates the query, it runs the query, it returns the results, and then it actually summarizes some of the bullets from those results itself. And then it will actually generate suggestions for follow-up questions based on the data. So I can either follow up and ask one of these questions, or I could ask my own question based on what my intent is and what I'm trying to find or threat hunt in this case. So maybe it's something like, show me any failed activity, right? Because we're looking for, potential threats. And I know that we're getting a little bit close to time, so we'll just do one or two of these. But at the end of the day, we're being able to get more granular in what we're trying to find or any potential, instances or threats by using natural language versus me having to go and try and write these fairly complex queries every single time. And when we think about security analysts, not everyone's going to have the same ability to write queries to be able to use that type of query language. We're democratizing how and who can access and provide security analysts within the SOC. So I think just given time, I know we only have a few minutes left. I think that's good for the demo. We probably just go back. I don't know if you have any follow-up questions or any comments on the demos.
Man, that's really super awesome. I imagine when the end users using this, I mean, it looks like it's relatively no latency. I mean, looks very transparent. Is that kind of true?
I will be honest, this is a live demo, so there's no recordings, there's no speeding up. What you're seeing is what you're getting, including my horrible typing. Maybe I did that. I would like to say that I did that on purpose to show that it's live, but I'm just not a great typer on the spot. But no, you're absolutely right. Like at the end of the day, we can't wait 10, 15, 20 minutes for a response to get back, right? I mean, as much as I would love to go get a coffee while waiting for a query, like we have things to do. We have to be able to do this. And when we think about going back to the impact and what we're up against with AI powered attacks, we have to meet AI powered attacks with AI at machine speed, right? We have to be able to identify the threats and remediate at machine speed to handle and to cut things off before they get to a disastrous point.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that you can ask questions about other services as well, like EC2 or, CloudFront or WAF.
Yeah, absolutely. We're part of the partnership, and one of the things that I'm super excited about is we're continuing to add how customers can now use these awesome technologies that we've had, but with that AWS lens and context, right? Where now we can go in and ask questions and dive into what our joint customers using AWS and SentinelOne want, which is visibility and more context into their AWS assets and systems. So we're continuing to, one of the tenets of the partnership is how do we continue to push the boundaries of bringing innovation to what we're doing together into our co-build, into our joint solutions. This is an example of that.
Awesome.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. So I'm excited to see what you guys have now. Can you talk a little bit about where this technology is going to go and what are you guys building on next?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to continue. I mean, as fast as AI is evolving, right? Even this year alone, it's now MCP, it's agentic. Like all of these things are being more and more in vogue and talked about across everyone. I think we're continuing to look at the growth in AI and bringing those capabilities into SentinelOne's platform, right? At our user conference a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas, called OneCon, we announced auto investigation, which really does provide those agentic workflows for threat detection and remediation, where now AI can not just detect threats, but investigate, identify root causes, identify the attack pattern, identify everything, and then provide either through our hyper automation remediation steps where there is some human in the loop mechanisms, because we still want to have some human interaction there. But then all you do is have a couple clicks and all that's remediated. So this is where we're going, is we're continuing to make sure that we're staying at the forefront of the attackers so that we can properly defend and protect our clients.
Well, awesome, Brett. I mean, thank you so much for being here. Super excited about your solution. You're welcome back anytime to just show us the latest and greatest with your technology. So thank you, Brett. Thank you, Parijad. This has been an exciting show. Thank you, audience. Please see us at reInvent. We'll see you at reInvent. And please stop by the booth if you're going to be there, and definitely tune in all day.
Yeah, stop by the SentinelOne booth for a great demo of everything that I just showed.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, I'm Brian, and this is Parijad, and this is Brett, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.